Hey there guys, Noah here, and welcome back to another Vanguard deck profile. Today, we're looking at V Premium Luard. So, there was a lot of changes that came up, a lot of new cards that have either come back because of an unrestrict or new cards coming into this deck that have made this a lot better than any version or variant of this deck in the past. And so today, we're going to kind of analyze this and see what makes this deck really freaking strong now and why it's definitely going to be a meta contender going forward. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, then be sure to leave a like and a comment down below letting me know your thoughts, and also consider subscribing because any bit of support is greatly appreciated. So without further ado, let's just get into this. Alright, so let's start off with the Grade 0/Trigger lineup. Obviously you're running your V-Series starter. My personal favorite is Root for this deck because, you know, Luard static. And then we're running 8 crit, 4 draw PGs, and then 4 heal guardians. I think I don't need to explain it, but basically, you want to crit them to death, and a lot of the times you don't need the extra draw because of all the other pieces in the deck. You deck them enough, you're not going to need it. And I feel like personally, like, especially toward the late game, due to all the searching you're going to naturally do, if you run the 6 draw, you may run into a few instances where you deck out, but you know, those are going to be a few isolated instances, so you could honestly just sit there and run the 6 crit, 6 draw variant if you want to give that a try, but I personally run the 8 crit. Alright, so up first, let's talk about Luard. He has 2 skills. You can retire 2 grade 1 rear guards to draw a card, and then choose one of the opponent's rear guards and retire it. This is useful for setting up the second ability, which reads, this is reduced by 1 counterblast each for each grade 1 in your drop zone. Counterblast 3. To return 2 normal units from your drop zone back into the deck, to search up for 1 Drag Driver Luard and ride it to stand and shuffle the deck, and then at the end of the turn, you ride back down to the Drag Luard. So that pretty much sets up everything for Drag Driver's play, which he has 2 skills. Continuous on Vanguard Circle, this unit gets plus 5k for each grade 1 rear guard, and then if you have 2 or more grade 3s in the soul, the original critical of all your grade 1 rear guards becomes 2. This includes Morfessa, which I'll get to in a little bit. He also has another skill, Counterblast 1, and then you can search up to the number of grade 1s for each like Luard that you have in your soul, plus 1, and call them to rear guard. So he pretty much sets up your board for you so that we can go into a whole bunch of combo plays. So honestly, he's just an amazing card, your main boss unit, and you'll never realistically not want to go into him once you're pretty much set up and ready to go. Lastly, for our grade 3s, probably the biggest addition and probably one of the main reasons why this deck is so consistent now is Origin Mage Aldana. God, that is one hell of a name to pronounce. But he's got 3 skills. Continuous in deck and drop, this card gets grade -2. This is significant because you could search him off of multiple different cards, i.e. the Drag Driver if you really want to get more bodies on the board. So he's another really good search target. He also has an auto skill from hand. If your Vanguard is grade 1, you can ditch him to reveal the top 10 cards of the deck, and if you reveal 2 or more grade 1 units, choose a grade 2 or greater unit from among them and put it into your hand and shuffle the deck. Notice that this is not a hard once per turn like in the main, so if you got multiple copies of him, well, you can just keep doing the skill as many times as, you know, how many of them you actually have in your hand. And then he has a Vanguard and Rearguard skill, which reads, when he attacks, Counterblast 1 and retire 2 other rear guards to draw 2 cards, and if this unit's on Vanguard Circle, for every grade 1 card in your drop, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of battle. So he's not a really terrible backup in case for some odd reason you don't get Drag Hard in time, but honestly, just this card is just a beast. Up first for our grade 2s, we've got Drag Wizard Leoful. When this unit is placed on Van of Rear, Counterblast 1 to search up for 1 grade 1 card, call it to your open rear guard circle and shuffle the deck. You can't search off the Aldana for this and the next card, assuming you meet the proper conditions, but he is your main grade 1 search target. He is always going to be your main grade 2 ride target. You always want to ride Leoful over anything else. But the only other card we have that is grade 2 is Drag Wizard Morfessa. She has 2 skills, continuous in rear deck. If you got a Luard Vanguard, this unit's grade becomes -1, so she basically acts as a grade 1 while in the deck or on rear guard. Then she has another skill, Auto. At the end of the battle that this unit attacks, if you've got 4 more rear guards with the original grade of 1, Counterblast 1 and retire this unit to call a grade 1 from the drop zone to rear guard. So this is significant because this creates the 4th attack, creates really solid multi-attacking. You could basically combo her with any of the other grade 1 pieces that I'll go over in a moment, but she is honestly probably your main combo extender. So now let's talk about the grade 1s. Starting off with Abyssal Owl. If you and your opponent's Vanguard are the same grade, you can pay this skill's cost with Soul Blast 1 instead of Counterblast 1. So when this unit's placed on Van or Rear, you can Counterblast 1 to draw 1. So he's basically your search target to, draw if you need to. Up next, we got Black Sage Karen. This recently just got unrestricted, and her skill reads, when this unit's placed due to the ability of your card, Soul Blast 1 to countercharge 1, and this unit gets plus 3k until end of turn. This is significant because this deck does use quite a bit of counterblast, and back before when this card used to be choice restricted with Luard, you could counterblast deny them a lot of their plays, but now I feel like running more than 2 is probably detrimental, but she is still a very useful card. Up next, we have got 2 copies of Sage of Risk Dekribs. I can't pronounce that name for the life of me, but he's got a very useful continuous rearguard skill, which reads, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your front row grade 1 units get intercept. This is significant because this allows you to dodge and basically get around certain really pesky guard restricts that may come up here and there. He also helps you just naturally have more to work with as in terms of shield value. Honestly, if you set 2 of him up, he doesn't get sniped as easily, so sometimes you just feel like you want to call 2 of him out on purpose, just so that way he doesn't get sniped and you don't lose out on that shield value. Then up next, our main real reason why Drag Driver Luard on turn 3 in full is possible, it's because of Nightmare Painter, which reads, when placed, put a grade 1 or less card into the soul from your drop zone, and this unit gets plus 3k till end of turn. Your main number 1 target will always be the Aldana because it counts as a grade 1 while in the drop zone. So you can put that card into the soul, and then fully be able to activate Drag Driver's skill once you're ready to go for it on turn 3. This card is absolutely fucking cracked, and I would not be surprised if they decide to choice restrict this card later on, just simply because of this broken interaction. And lastly, for our grade 1s and in this entire deck profile, we have Strict Order Knight Luliness. She has a very basic skill, continuous on rearguard circle. If you have 5 or more grade 1 rearguards, this unit gets plus 15k. Notice how it does not say until end of turn, so you can make this a 20k body, so as long as none of your other rearguards get sniped. This is huge, and really your main piece that you want to extend with the Morfessa, because even on just 1 column without a force marker, this becomes 40k if you got 2 of them. If you've got a force marker, that becomes 50k, then 60k, and then so on and so forth. And because you're also applying crit pressure thanks to the Drag Driver, this card just gets really big and really annoying extremely fast. And because G-Guards don't exist in this format, unless you have some really crazy spot removal like your basically Narukami or even the Lockkeeper engine for Kagero, you are going to struggle against this card 100%. This is going to be the main reason why a lot of people will probably struggle against this deck, because she just, once you plop a few of her on board and you've got the proper board setup, she gets big and it becomes increasingly difficult with each passing turn to be able to stop. Overall, I really do enjoy this deck now, and I feel like this is the best version of Luard we've had in quite a long time, pretty much ever since Nemain. That's how good this deck actually is. This, I would argue, is even more consistent, but you guys are free to tell me in the comment section, otherwise. Also, let me know in the comment section if I've missed anything, any certain tech cards that you would consider running in your own personal builds, because I may try to incorporate that in the future depending on what it is, because, I'm still experimenting with this list. This is not the main deck list I feel like I'm going to just take and go into any future event with at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna get up out. Thank you guys so much for checking out this deck profile, and until next time, this is Noah, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.